I'm for this saying that says sizofunda ngenkani, because now education is our basic right, and there should be no one that tries and take that away. I mean, even Tata himself said education is a powerful tool to use to eradicate poverty. And now if institutions are trying to prevent us from gaining such, then we as students, we are saying sizofunda ngenkani. And that is a song sang across all the country. All these institutions, they know that song. That's how we move, sizofunda ngenkani. And we keep on saying we demand free education.
Dude, if they increase the fees, I'm screwed like for days. Well, because I come from a working class family and I understand the sacrifice that my parents have to make in order for me to be here. So if the fees are too high, I cannot afford to study, but then that is not fair because it's gonna look like as if education is a privilege. It can only be received by those that have money, which is not the case here. Education is the right of every student, so I really need to be here, and if the fees are too high, then I'll be excluded financially. So this is really hurting me, and then I cannot think of anything that's going to help me if the fees are increased. So with that, I think the fees must just fall. Thank you.
Well, the whole fee situation is unfair for us too, like Indians, just because we aren't completely disadvantaged, it doesn't mean we aren't affected. I mean, we most of the time don't qualify to get bursary, so our parents have to fork out money from their salaries and stuff, but it's so much. They can't just go, they don't just have this money in their mattresses where they can just take it out and pay for our fees. We do get affected by it.
And I can't afford that. NSFAS in tax gives you about 65,000 if I'm not mistaken, or 67,200. It gives you that money, and my fees, they go up until maybe 90,000. So that's nothing, and then they'd say your family have to contribute in some sense. And what hurts the most is if you live at rest, some kids are privileged, so we need to urge everyone to come and join the strike. It's not about...
They're not understanding the diversity in this university, that people aren't here because they're all rich and they're all on bursaries and stuff. There's people that are working in spur to get their degrees. That's how hard people work, and you're taking that away from them and you're not justifying it.
I come from Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is a country that has serious economic problems currently. And so when you find parents making a sacrifice to send their children to some other country, they really make a lot of sacrifices. And so when they hike the fees, they're basically telling us that we shouldn't get a education, and they're also basically telling us that they don't want us to study in South Africa. So to some extent, it's financial xenophobia.
So tax management must not increase the fee. International, SADC or whatever, the fees must stay the same. Thanks.
You know, some of us come here and basically you're the only one who's ever been to university, and you know, they're expecting you to come back with something, but then it becomes difficult when your NSFAS and all of them, and your NSFAS, these funding societies are supposed to fund you, but then there's not enough money because the fees are so high.
My view is we need to stop being apathetic. You cannot put a price tag to education. There are people who had to go to the ends of the mountain to acquire the 5,000 for registration.
Ek dink is onregverdig van die universiteit om van baie arm studente te verwag om hierdie prysverhoging te betaal. Ek sal graag daarvan hou as die regering hulle subsidies kan vergroot, omdat die jeug die toekoms is van die land, en ja, graag ons net gaan help om ons ekonomie te verbeter en die huidige toestand van ons land. Baie dankie.
And it scares me as a student to think that the university would have gotten away with such an exorbitant hike in fees if the students had not in fact risen their voices and complained about it. It shows you how little checks and balances go behind the actions of students. And it's quite scary to know that that is the power the university has. And that's how it views students as individuals who are to be exploited in their silence.
Well, very good morning to you, and I must say that the University of Pretoria student protest is in full swing here. Students, they gathered at the student center just recently, and now they are moving along the campus to continue with their demonstrations. And the message is simple and clear that tax fees must fall, and the students say that they do not want any more increments on fees. And they actually had a 13-point list of demands, which include that no interest on outstanding student debt. And they're saying that food at residences, the prices must also come down. But to tell us more about these demands, as you mentioned, we are joined by the SASCO secretary here at Tuks, Thabo Shingange, to just tell us, Thabo, the minister yesterday announced a 6% cap on all university fee increments. And he had urged students to compromise when dealing with this matter. What is your response as the University of Pretoria students?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the minister must understand that students are the main stakeholders of an institution of higher learning. Students are demanding a 0% increment across the board. He's not a student, he works in parliament, he's earning lots of money, our parents are unemployed, they are poor, we cannot afford tuition fees. We demand a 0% increment across the board, and that's something he must compromise to.
All right, and interestingly, my observation here is that this protest has attracted a diverse range of students from different backgrounds and different colors. How did you guys manage to get the buy-in of all students from all these backgrounds as the leaders?
I mean, at the University of Pretoria, the fees dramatically increased. I don't even think it's legal, the rate at the increased at. And it's not a racial thing. I think the society must generally stop confusing poverty to primarily black people only. A lot of diversified groups out there are poor as well, and therefore we try to appeal to as many people as possible because it's a financial crisis, it's a student crisis, and students have responded to our call.
And I understand that a bit later, the Vice Chancellor, Prof. Cheryl Delare, is going to be addressing students. What are you hoping to hear from her?
It's the Vice Chancellor. It's simple. We're not here to negotiate with the Vice Chancellor. Hers is to convene council. We want her to call the chairperson of council to come and convene council here at the student center, which we'll be occupying. And we want an open and democratic, transparent council meeting such that they can hear the student demands and ratify our student demands. Basically, so her coming here, I don't even think she must address the students, because the only time we see the Vice Chancellor is during open day. She has failed. We've went there numerous times trying to engage with her, and she has failed to respond to students. Now we want her to call council and actually convene council in front of students, because we're tired of talking to her. She has failed to respond to our calls.
All right, well, thank you. That is the SASCO secretary here at Tuks explaining to us that they are not going to compromise, as the Minister of Higher Education urged students that to compromise and actually meet universities halfway with the 6% increase capping. They're saying that 0 fee increment for this year, and they are standing behind that.
we went to the administration building trying to seek the Vice Chancellor to speak to us, and none happened. So we've all decided to mobilize, and we're leaving, we're taking to the streets. What I don't understand is that these people want us to uprise. These people want us to do things that we weren't planning to do. Why is that the case? We're not here to steal, we're not here to kill. We just want to talk, we just want these fees to fall.
Students mustn't accept this. You know, you can't tell me that you're coming to fight against something, but at the first hurdle you say no. Students must understand that a strike is like 100 meters basically. There will be many hurdles, but only those who fight through the hurdles will get to the end. And Delare has given us 2 hurdles in the same day, and students are going home. Students are going to rest. I'm not happy. When we went outside to occupy the streets, students were resting, students were studying, students were in residential areas, yet we were fighting for them as well. This cannot be accepted. If it was up to me, if I had any speck of influence on leadership, these students would not believe me. I mean, when you look at students in Stellenbosch, you look at our fellow students in Wits, we're not going home to rest for 2 hours and watch DSTV. No, we are here till they come and address us.
As students, we cannot take orders from the management. If we say we want to strike, the strike has to happen on our terms. They cannot tell us where to go or what to do while we strike. If we feel like burning a tire whilst we strike here on campus, we will burn it because it's our strike. We are doing what we want, because every time we speak to them, they cannot hear us. It seems as if our voices don't make sense to them. Maybe violence is the only thing they understand. And students should stay here and not go home. I've never seen a strike where people take a rest and they go home and then they come back. We are occupying here until Friday and we are not going anywhere.
My name's Kwena Maloto and I'm the DA Student Organization Chairperson at University of Pretoria. I think that the UP Uprising movement yeah, it's amazing. I didn't think that at my time at Tuks we'd ever see thousands of students standing up under one single banner, forgetting about race, gender, age. Yeah, I think that it's also important. I'm glad that we're marching on the union buildings tomorrow, because although it's really important that we put pressure on the university, I also think it's important that we put pressure on government, because I think in the end of the day it's government decreasing funding that's the major cause of this issue. So yeah, but yeah, awesome movement.